Hello class, welcome back. We are getting even closer to Christmas as we speak. It is 12/10, the 10th of December, and Christmas is the 25th, so we have 15 more days until Christmas. I'm getting pretty pumped. And this room is going to get more Christmassy and Christmassy, and I want you to help. If we can make this room look really good, I might keep it after Christmas. And that's what I want to do. So bring whatever Christmas essentials we need for this room. Wrapping paper, even we can wrap this room up, make it look like a giant present. And if we have enough stuff coming in, then maybe we'll take a day to decorate. So bring in Christmas stuff. Let's make this room look nice. Today we're learning about slope-intercept form. And slope-intercept form is a long word to describe what we've been using throughout this entire chapter. We've been talking about linear equations, and the form that we talk about linear equations in is y equals mx plus b. So this equation is also known as the slope-intercept form. There's a reason why we call this the slope-intercept form, and it's because linear equations come in two, or actually more than two forms. The two that we're going to study about are called the slope-intercept form, and then there's the standard form. And both of those forms are under the umbrella of linear equations. So slope-intercept form is a linear equation, but also there's another one called the standard form, which is ax plus by equals c. And we'll learn about that in tomorrow's lecture. This is the one we're focusing on today, and we're going to learn something particular about it. Today, we're going to take 2 points, and we're going to be able to tell what this equation is, y equals mx plus b. We're going to be able to tell what m and b are from only 2 points. And so here's what I want you to try and discover today, is how to take 2 points, let's say 2 and 5. And then the next point, 4 and 10. Now let's do 2 and 6, and then 4 and 11. And I want us to figure out what m and what b are. And the trick is that we don't know what b is, just looking at these two coordinates. We don't know what y will be when x is 0, so we don't know our y-intercept. We know how to take the slope of 2 points. We already learned the equation, and so finding slope, and we're going to do that right here, requires the equation m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. If you go through those steps, and I'm going to save time in the lecture right now by doing it quickly, if you go through those steps, you will discover your slope, and between these 2 points, you're going to have your y2 minus y1, which is the difference between your y's, or the rise. The rise is the difference between your y's. That'll be 11 minus 6, which is 5. And then that is divided by the difference of your x's, 4 minus 2. And so your rise over run is 5 divided by 2, and that fraction can't be simplified, but we can change it into different types of numbers, like 2.5 or 2.5, but I'll leave it as 5 over 2 for now. So that's our m value. Now, to find our b value, and this is where it gets a bit more complicated. To find our b value, or we're not going to call it b value, we're going to call it the y-intercept. That is going to require that we plug in an m value, an x value, and a y value into this equation. And when we do that, when we plug in something for y, when we plug in something for y, and then m, and then x, when all these numbers have a number in them, then the only variable we have left is b. And if all these are numbers and all we have left is b, we can solve for b. And so now the question is, how do you find numbers for each of these? Here's how you do it. You are going to take your m value that you found already, and then you're going to choose one of the coordinates over here, and we're going to choose 2, 6 right now. So your m equals 5 halves, your x equals 2, and your y equals 6. We're going to take those 3 values and we're going to plug them into this equation. So 6 equals 5 halves times 2 plus b. This is an algebra equation using the algebra rules that you have studied in Chapter 2 and Chapter 3. In solving for this, you have 5 halves times 2, and if you multiply that using what you know about multiplying with fractions, you're going to find that 5 halves over 2 times 2 equals 5. And then write the rest of your equation out. And then to get b alone over here, you have to subtract 5 from both sides. You subtract 5, subtract 5. So then you get 6 minus 5 is going to be 1. So 1 equals, and on this side, all that's left is your b. So b is 1. All right. So we have an m value, and we have a b value. And so going back to the beginning over here, we can plug in m and a b for this equation and have it in perfect slope-intercept form for the line containing these 2 points. So y equals 5 halves x plus 1. All right. So to review, we found our m and we found our b. And we found those first by taking these 2 points and finding the slope with them. Then we used our slope in one of these points to find our b value. And then at the end, we wrote down our equation. And when we write down our equation, we don't put values in for y or x. We make those variables again. And then we put values in for our m and our b, the ones that we discovered. And so the line containing these 2 points, the linear equation, is y equals 5 halves x plus 1. You may have written it y equals 2.5 x plus 1, or y equals 2.5 x plus 1. And that is the type of problem you're going to have to know for today's lesson, and the type of problem that you'll have to know what the slope-intercept form is useful for.